Welcome everyone to Networking Entrepreneurs. I'm your host Peter Wolfel, and today we have a great special guest joining us, Allan Pollett. He's been around quite a while in the social media space. In fact, he's known as the SEO guru, and he practices what he preaches. So he's right at the top of Google.
He's $1,000 richer today. $1,000 richer than he was last HST.
Yeah. So he's a great guy. I've seen him perform many times and give a lot of different presentations about social media, SEO, also Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And today he's going to be talking about all of it kind of combined in kind of a general sense. So just to give us a kind of short overview as to how we can build our businesses with social media.
My approach has always been an SEO approach. So when I do social media, I don't really do social part of the social media. I approach it in a way that how can I use it to drive business, right? I'm not trying to make friends. I don't care about friends. I just care about money, and I'm a good entrepreneur that way. So some of the social, like what I recommend, first thing that I recommend for anyone that's doing any social media is to think about it in that business light. How can I make money from this? Where should I put my efforts? Okay, it's like that cost-risk thing. You gotta kind of think about where to put your efforts. So I always put my efforts into four social sites. One would be YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Now there's others, like Instagram and all those other ones, Pinterest, Reddit, Dig. There's a whole bunch, okay? Stumble, Tumblr, okay? But I put it into those four: YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Now, it depends on what your business is. So, for example, if you're doing a lot of B2B, which is like business to business, LinkedIn is you should put more focus on that. If you're doing more female-orientated products that are targeting 30 to 50-year-olds, that kind of sweet spot, then Facebook. If you're targeting a younger demographic, Facebook owns Instagram, so switch it to Instagram. Okay, so that kind of way of thinking. Also, if you're trying to do things where you're trying to build credibility and you're trying to build sort of a SEO kind of more thing, look at YouTube. Okay, so I like the SEO element. So YouTube is the #2 search engine. So it's Google, then YouTube. Google owns YouTube. So what you can do is you can leverage YouTube for your SEO. And there's lots of ways to get huge traffic and lots of business from it. Okay, so I kind of leverage it from an SEO standpoint. The other, Twitter is like using social media to basically listen to the world. So there's about 500 million people using Twitter, and it's a way of, like what I use it for is if I get desperate. Like, let's say there's a slow month, I use Twitter just to get a few clients, like just instant clients. And I'm going to try to show you how to use each of these very, very quickly, because normally I babble for about 3-4 hours on this kind of topics. So like each one of those things I talk for 2 hours each. So I'm going to try to summarize it quickly. So I'm going to quickly do Twitter and how do you, like, quickly, what's everyone's business here? I know yours, I don't know some of them. So what's your businesses? Quickly, just say your businesses.
I'm a social media manager for a non-profit organization.
Okay.
It's called Inspire.
I know Inspire.
It's a youth organization publishing platform.
Okay.
I'm also working for a not-for-profit. It's called Volunteer for Success. I'm the social media manager. They're trying to create like a LinkedIn, but for volunteer positions. Okay. And then I'm just searching for like a more stable work position.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Non-profits, non-stable. Okay. So, and then you're like, she does networking. What's your business?
I'm a social media writer.
Okay, so everyone's actually working in social media. This is kind of interesting. And I know what you do. He does shred. Okay, so interesting. Okay, so people are already doing social media and they come to a social media thing. That's good. So I'm trying to retailer my thing for that because you guys are probably.
But make it general, you know, for the
Yeah,
YouTube
no.
world. You know, it doesn't have
so
to be for us necessarily.
I'm tailoring it for everybody. So YouTube world
Yeah.
can enjoy this too. If you're already doing social media, you're probably doing it wrong. And I mean that in the nicest way. Generally, when people do social media, like I worked with lots of companies. I have about 400 clients active right now, and I've worked on about 3,000 clients over the years. And I've seen a lot as a result of that. And what I always see is when back in 2008 era, what they would do is they would say, oh, who is a young person that we can hire just to do social media? Okay? So what they would do is they would hire some young person that Facebooks or Twitters or whatever, and they would do it like that. They would do it in a social way. The social way is like, how do I, engage people? How do I, tweet to people? How do I do that kind of thing? That's not necessarily the most effective way for business. Generally, what you want to do is do a bit of that, but you want to also tailor it for your business goal. So what you want to do is if you're going to tweet something, you think of the 60-40 rule. So the 60-40 rule is that 40% of what you do is purely social. It's like, look at my kids doing this, or look at what I just ate today, or or here's a cool quote that we heard, or actually cool quotes, really useful. Always put Albert Einstein, Mark Twain, look up their quotes. What you do is you quote use their quote, put your website link in with the quote. Okay? So what you do is you say a really cool quote and then have it kind of relate to your website. Okay? And then hashtag it properly. Like if you're not familiar with it, you guys should be familiar with hashtags. Hashtags, so if my business is SEO, I would do something like where I'd quote somebody that says something cool about business, and then what I would do is hashtag it with like SEO, marketing, online marketing, business, something like that. And what I would do is then also put my website link in there. So what happens is when people get quotes, they like sharing it. And this is within that 40%. This is purely being social, but again with that business tinge, where you're really trying to leverage it, where you're trying to encourage people to share, but they're sharing your link in the end. They might not think of it that way, but they'll think that they're sharing the quote, but they're retweeting or they're sharing your link, and that's the goal. The other 60% of your tweets should be business orientated. So you're tweeting about offers that you have, you're tweeting about things to, insights that you can provide from a business perspective. So what I'll do is I'll tweet about, Google updates or social things that you can do, or new social networks, or tricks that you can use on social media, and then I'll tweet out links to articles within my site. And it's the same stuff applies to LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. Like these social posts, when you post them out, you post them with that intent of driving them somewhere. So generally what I'll do is 60-40 rule. So 40% is kind of that social stuff, and then 60% is that focus on driving people to my website for a business purpose. That let's say I'll say I have a SEO opportunity for them, or I'll say that this month there's content marketing that you can get cheaper, or I have this new program, and I'll send them my way via those things. But what you have to understand is quickly. What you should do if you're going to do social media for business, you have to realize that a lot of people are tweeting out. Okay, and tweeting out. Twitter's the best for this, and I kind of like Twitter for this. And you want to find clients, especially if you're doing non-profit stuff. You want to find people that would be potentially interested in your non-profit. So for them, if you're looking for people that are interested in networking, there's going to be people that are talking about that. And what you do is you kind of put on your SEO hat. So you think, what keywords would people use when they're interested in whatever topic? So for example, they're interested in finding networking events. Okay? So they might type in something like Toronto and networking. Okay? Well, what you can do on Twitter, and if you use TweetDeck or Hootsuite, those two platforms. TweetDeck is free. It's through Twitter. It used to be a separate program, but Twitter bought it. What you can do is you can do what's called monitoring. And the way monitoring works is basically you can monitor keywords. So, and then you can do it by proximity. So, for example, if I want to find out all the people who are tweeting about networking, or finding a job, or whatever it is, I can basically use that as a keyword, then set my proximity to the GTA, or smaller, within a kilometer of where I'm trying to target, or within a big area if I want. I can target it as big or small as I want, and then what I can find is all the people that are talking about that. Okay, and then what you get is a real-time feed of all the people talking about that. So you have their handles, you have everything about them, and then what you do is you say, hey look, I see that you're interested in finding networking events. Here, I have this networking event that's going on tonight. Check it out. And then you just tweet to them. You send a DM, or I would do a reply tweet. Nobody checks their DMs. So you send them a reply tweet, and you just basically engage that person directly. So it's basically finding the exact person that's interested in your product or service or whatever it is that you're offering.
Can I ask a question? So, reply tweet. I thought with Twitter, people can't really see your tweets unless they are actually following you.
Yeah, so that's not quite right. There's many ways that people can see you. They can see you either by following a hashtag. So if they are following that hashtag, if you reply to them, they see that as well. They get the notification that there's been a reply, that there's been engagement within their tweet. Because they're tweeting out, and if you do a reply, they get that notification that there's been engagement with that tweet.
Okay.
So they'll get that notification, and then you're more likely to get them to.
So when when you reply to celebrities, like, I don't know, Obama or Trump or whatever.
Chances are they won't actually.
But somebody in their organization sees that.
They do. They'll get like what's called an engagement thing, but they'll get so many engagements like when they're a celebrity that generally you'll get buried in engagement. Okay. So generally, what happens is you don't go after the celebrities in this case. You go after the people that are probably going to respond, right?
Right.
And it really is a matter of how quickly you engage with them. Especially with Twitter, it's like very quick that you better engage with them. If you see something that was tweeted out an hour ago or several hours ago, the chance of success is very, very low. But if you engage with them right after they tweet it, that's why creating that feed where you're engaging them as they say it, you're more likely to get that success. Okay. So it's.
And you can make that reply right from TweetDeck?
Yep, TweetDeck.
Okay, cool.
Or Hootsuite. Both have their advantages, like they're different. So that's some of the things you can do on Twitter to just get clients instantly. I'm going to quickly explain a little bit more about SEO style stuff because I always like things that way. Who here likes LinkedIn? Okay, sort of. Okay, so I love LinkedIn. I'm one of the top guys on LinkedIn. I have about 20,000 first-level connections, and I'm considered like one of their high-level people. And the reason I got that many, it's not hard to get that many actually. What you do is you optimize your profile. So if you see your profile as an SEO task rather than just like as a resume, a lot of people when they create their profile, they basically do it as a resume. I don't see it like that. I see it as a SEO page. So typically with an SEO page, what you're doing is you're targeting keywords, right? So you think of it as like just a general page where you have your summary, you have your name, your company, you also have your resume stuff, your job experience, and summaries of that experience. Well, those are all areas which are keywords, places to place keywords. So what ends up happening is LinkedIn uses a database, okay? And what it does is it takes all of those things, puts them into its database, and when you're searching for somebody to find on LinkedIn, it basically takes all of that information and does a word count. Because this is a typical database lookup. A database lookup will basically take all that information and summarize how many times was that keyword used within the content. So for example, if you use the keyword like SEO, like I used to be #1 in the world on LinkedIn for the word SEO. So if you search, anytime you search for SEO, I would always be the #1 guy on LinkedIn. I'm not anymore because I couldn't keep up with it because everyone's doing the same thing. What you do is you literally count how many times was the word SEO mentioned within the profile. And if you mentioned it 11 times and the other guy mentioned it 10, you would rank above him. Okay? It was that simple. There's a few other tricks where they've kind of created weights within their database search, but it's still a database search. So what they weight it a little differently. What they'll do is your name within LinkedIn. So whatever your name is, my name's Allan Pollett. But in LinkedIn, it's not Allan Pollett. My name's not Allan Pollett. It's Allan Pollett SEO Guru. Okay, so that's my name. So what happens is LinkedIn first wanted to create connections, allow people to find their friends, their family, their business contacts, everything like that. So what it does is it uses the name field as a primary search. So if you put your whatever it is that you do as your name, all of a sudden it's gonna, like, if somebody does a search, it'll interpret that search, even if it's a keyworded search, it'll interpret it as a name search. So generally, if your name is that, you rank well for it. So I'll rank well for SEO Guru just because that's my name. so it's a way of gaming the LinkedIn algorithm. And the cool thing about it is a database search. So you can literally keep on tweaking your profile until you see yourself move up in the rankings.
So I can put shed plus after my name and it will increase.
It'll increase your ranking for that. Okay?
I'll do that right now.
Yeah, you try it out. So, and the thing is, it's real time because it is a database search. So for example, with Google, whenever I make a change to a website and I try to get it ranked higher, like I have to optimize it, well, it can take anywhere from a week to 2 weeks for Google to pick up that change. Well, with LinkedIn, it's instant. So just imagine, every time you make a change, you can see what impact that had on your rankings within the LinkedIn search. So you just keep on tweaking it until you get the results you're looking for. So, for example, I did it for one guy. He was looking for a job. Okay, he was good at what he did. He wasn't the best at it, but he was good at it. So what I did is I optimized his profile. So whenever somebody searched for that, like I think it was like market analyst or something like that, he would always come at the top of the list. So what ended up happening was people started to say, oh, he must be the best in the world for that service or whatever, right? He ended up getting, within a week, he got a $500,000 job offer, which he took. so he did well. So the point is, just using this.
Did he give you a referral like I did?
I know he didn't get. Like, he just paid. He just pays for the optimization. So I optimized it, targeted whatever keywords he wants.
What kind of work did he do for $500,000?
I have no idea.
$500,000 a year salary?
$500,000 a year salary. I was like, yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad. So yeah. So just so you know, when I had my SEO at the top, I used to get 5 job offers a day from like big companies like Google, eBay try to hire me. All the major companies try to hire me. Like, and I turned them all down. But you know, I didn't want the pay cut. So, but the point is, like, you can use these tactics. The same actually applies to YouTube. So I always approach things from an SEO standpoint. So with YouTube, I love YouTube. YouTube is video sharing, right? So what happens is, back to websites. If you have a basic website, typically a website will convert 2% of the traffic into some kind of conversion. They will contact you, they'll email you, they'll do something with you, okay? 2% of them. So it takes 50 people to get something, okay? It's a lot of people. Now, if you put a video on that same page, you'll get 5 times the conversions. So you'll get about 10% conversion rate. And the reason for that is we live in a digital age, and we don't always have this kind of opportunity to meet face to face. So what ends up happening is when they see a website, there's no trust there, right? There's no, you don't really have that contact that you would have like in a room like this. So what ends up happening is when they see that video, it creates trust. It creates a lot of trust that they see a person behind the company that they just came to, okay? So that was the first thing that I had in my mind, that I want to use my videos on my website to really gain trust. Now, you can embed videos from YouTube, right? Now, what happens is when you embed, like let's say you create a video, like, so what I did was, I do SEO, but one of the other things that I noticed, and it was a big space, was reputation management. Now, if you think of SEO, SEO is just getting one site to the top of the rankings. With reputation management, it's about burying stuff. So if somebody killed somebody and they don't want anyone to know about it, I bury that, dispose of the body. So I bury it so that when somebody searches that person's name, they only see positive, good stuff. Oh, they would never hurt anyone. So it's always positive things that I show. So it's really getting like about 20 things ranked at the top. Okay? So that's very expensive to do. Okay? Because it takes a lot of resources. So people that do reputation management or require reputation management spend a lot of money. Okay? It's a nice money thing for me. So what I did is I created one page about reputation management on my my personal website. And that one page, after I did this one trick that I'm telling you right now, I made about $100,000 over a period of 2 to 3 months, just from that one page. And the way I did it was I did exactly what I'm saying right now, is I created a page about reputation management, and then what I did was I put a video about reputation management onto that page, okay? And then that video is on YouTube, and I called the video Reputation Management, okay? And what happened was, actually I made it Reputation Management Guru, okay? Because I wanted to be the guru of reputation management. And what happened was, within a day, it was in the top 10. Within a week, it was #1 for the word Reputation Management Guru, okay? And the reason being is Google likes Google. Google wants to show itself at the top of the search. So if you create a video that it has that title, it's going to try to put that at the top of the search rankings. And if you further embed that video on a page that talks about that topic, it then sees that page as being the most relevant page because it's really a recommendation to itself. So generally it'll push that page right to the top of the search results. Okay? So just that one trick, $100,000. Okay? Not too bad because I got clients from it, right? Because it converted better, because people saw the video.
Did you create a domain name for it as well?
No,
or
it was just a page, just a random page.
just a page within your, let's say,
with my site, yeah.
Your own site.
My site talks about a lot of SEO stuff, so
okay.
It's like, just had that one page. And it was a really easy way to, generate some extra money, okay? To optimize, so what you do, it's the same tricks though with YouTube. A lot of the times when people post videos, they try to be clickbaity first. The first thing that they think is, oh, I got to create a really catchy title, okay? And that's true. You do have to create a catchy title because that gets higher views and it makes it more successful. But you also have to think of keywords. And a lot of people, when they create videos, they don't actually think about the keywords, which is a great opportunity. Because a lot of the times, if they're not optimizing their videos, they're missing out on the basic searches that people are doing. And as I said, YouTube is the #2 search engine. So if you can leverage that fact that people are searching on it, and the way that they search is different than the way that they search on Google. So if I search on Google, I'm going to click maybe the top 3. I'm going to click one of them. And I might come back if I don't like the result that I get, I might come back and search it again. And I might click the second guy. But I don't really do much more than that. With YouTube, let's say you're doing like a how to fix a door, okay? Well, what'll happen is people generally watch maybe 10 videos. They'll watch like multiple videos on how to fix a door. okay? Because they just, they want to learn how to do it. And so what ends up happening is you don't have to be number one. You just have to be anywhere in the top 20. So you'll actually get a lot of searches just being in the top 20. And to be in that top 20 is relatively easy because all you have to do is optimize the video title, you optimize the description to repeat those keywords, you tag it with the keywords, and then you can even use hashtags inside of YouTube, and you can hashtag it with those keywords. Also, YouTube, what it'll do is it'll actually, it'll take the audio from your video, and it will actually be able to index that as well. So it can actually, all the text that's inside of your video, it knows every single word you said, kind of 97% accurately, and it will actually use those words. So if you say, for example, in my video I said reputation management, I'll generally rank better because I said that word inside of my video, okay? So generally what you want to do is you can kind of encourage it to even do that more so by enclosing, using closed captioning. I recommend what you do is get, there's transcription services. It costs about $1 per video. You can get a transcription service, and then you get that 100% accuracy within your transcription. So you have like very accurate text that goes under, like when people are looking at the words that are being used in the video. And then that way...
You mean closed caption?
Closed captioning, yeah.
Okay, so there's a service out there you can buy too?
There's a service that you can do, it's about $1 a video. And what you do is you use that because what you want is, when Google does the closed captioning, it gets 97%. And sometimes you get really weird results. It'll say that you said some really weird thing when you didn't. So you want to have it be 100% accurate. And if you give that, when you add your video to YouTube, you include that transcription, and then you'll get that higher percentage accuracy, and you'll be more likely to control the search result as a result of that.
So there's a company that will listen to the audio and then just type everything that you're saying, basically.
Yeah.
But then that file has to be attached to the video
all
somehow.
you do is they'll give you a special type of file. I forget what it's. I think it's SRT.
Okay.
I think that's the right extension. And what they'll do is you just take that SRT file and then you upload it to YouTube when you put your video up. It's really that simple.
Cool.
It literally takes maybe a couple of seconds. It's not hard. But if you do all that, you'll get this kind of nice effect where you'll rank better on Google, you'll rank better on YouTube, and you'll get a pretty good viewership. So there's a bunch of things within the YouTube algorithm. YouTube, it's not just about the keywords in all those places. It's about how many subscriptions you have, subscribers, how many views you get, how quickly you get your views. There's a couple tricks you can do to kind of game that as well. What you can do is you can actually turn your video off in a weird way, where it's not open to the public. So what you do is you turn it off to the public, build a bunch of views through your mailing lists or through people that you know that just view it, and then you turn it on once you get that viewership. So it's when it starts as being a public video, it already has 1,000 views or something like that, where it looks like, oh, it's really, really popular, instantly popular. And it'll actually jig the YouTube algorithm to say that this is a hot video, and therefore they'll kind of place it up higher, and they'll actually start recommending it. So there's a couple tricks you can do to kind of game the system a bit in your favor. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you please repeat the viewers of number of views you get from YouTube video?
Yeah. So what you do is you can, when you post your video, you can post it as being public or being private.
Yeah, yes.
You post it as being private at first.
Yeah.
Then you tell all your friends and family, or hey, watch this video. And then once you get all those viewers, that viewership, then turn it on to public. So what happens is it's instantly seen as being a popular video before it's even made public. What you can do on all your social media is just use it. Think of it from an SEO standpoint. Think of it from a keyword standpoint. And check out my videos and check out my personal website, allanpollett.com. I have over 400 articles on how to game everything out there. There's tricks on how I made $20,000 in 1 hour on Twitter. You know, there's like so many cool things that I've done. You can check it all out on my personal thing.
Great.
So, bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.